Gruesome Magazine.
I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and Christopher G. Moore. And myself. We'll take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we are finally taking a look at Terrifier 2, a film some of us have eagerly been waiting for, and others, well, we'll find out tonight. All right, joining me this week is my co-host, Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Excellent. I'm excellent, too.
Sound good.
Excellent,
nice.
brothers.
Yeah.
All right. Also joining us, Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I am... Oh, well, I guess now I know what happens when you don't give grown-ups candy for Halloween.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, that's bad. Bad news. Bad news. Also joining us tonight is award-winning filmmaker, Christopher G. Moore.
The food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe.
Hey! Oh my God, yes. Okay.
You're welcome.
Musical number, we gotta have it, and a musical number that involves food.
And involves this movie.
Yeah, I mean this movie. All right.
Uh-oh.
Rounding out the crew is the one and only Dave.
There's no possible way I can top Christopher's rendition of the Clown Cafe song, so we'll just move along.
None of us can.
That was the highlight of this review. There it was.
It doesn't take a lot.
That's all you need. Thank you and good night. All right. So what we're going to do tonight, folks, is we're going to review Terrifier 2. We're going to give our first impression. That first impression will be spoiler free. That'll be hard for us to do, but we will do it. And then we'll get into a discussion and we will get into spoilers. So make sure you watch the film first and then come back.
Yes.
Not that I think it matters if this movie is spoiled.
It won't matter.
But you will want some of the surprise. And then we'll wrap things up with a score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. Can't wait to do this. Yeah, of course, we hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, hit the like, the subscribe, share with a friend. Yes, hit those buttons. Every little click helps. Thank you so much. We're trying to reach 5,000 subscribers, and only you can help us do it. And then, of course, we want your comments as well. I feel like I should go.
You should have a little horn.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's
Man, yeah.
that would work. All right, let's take a look at the card. All right, Terrifier 2. From Screenbox and a couple other places. Available in theaters beginning October 6, 2022. It's also on VOD and digital on demand, which I think might be the same thing. But anyway, written and directed by Damien and Leone. The cast includes Griffin Santiago-Pietro, Jenna Kanell, David Howard Thornton, Lauren LaVera, Catherine Cochran, Felissa, sorry. Felissa. I'm one of the many people who mispronounce that, and yes, I know what happens when you do. I am going to die soon. Samantha Scafidi and Chris Jericho. Synopsis: after being resurrected by a sinister entity, Art the Clown returns to a timid town of Miles County, where he targets a teenage girl and her younger brother on Halloween night.
Yep.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, let's find out what we thought. What were our first impressions? And Crystal, you are up first.
Okay, yay. Okay, so this was better than the first one. It's very shocking for me to say that because typically
You loved the first one.
I loved the first one, but I can't believe it. He did it. He made it even better. Okay, so Art, David, is even better as Art the Clown. I don't know what, he was fabulous the first time around, but this time he's more expressive. He's more I don't know what he's done, but he's freaking upped his game. I feel like we got way more story. I want more, actually. I feel like in Damien's head, he has the idea of what all he wants, and so he's gonna let it play out. And I want it now because I'm I want it now kind of person. There is so much gore in this, and it is so much beautiful, good gore. Okay, so the Terrifier franchise is not for everyone. That's just the bottom line. Like, if you don't like gore, then you're not gonna like it. If you are into elite horror or whatever, you're not gonna like it. So, but if you do, elevated horror. But if you do, I feel like this guy, his special effects are so good, shockingly good. Like without saying too much, when someone gets their head bashed in, I'm like, you still see them, and I'm like, that is freaking awesome. I can't believe how good he does. He's like kind of blowing my mind. They added a whole new character, which I really liked her too. I'm not going to give anything away there, since we're not doing this. But I'm just going to keep going on about. Oh my God, the music was amazing. They have a Power Man 5000 song, and we know who Power Man is, right, guys? Now, because
from that other movie, yes.
Yes. So see, and they're amazing in real life. Black lipstick. I mean, I loved it. I was so excited, and I had such high hopes, and I can't believe it actually met them.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And now for something completely different. Christopher G. Mohr.
Why you gotta go to me next?
What was your first impression?
It's the yin and the yang.
Terrifier.
I will disagree with what Crystal said. You can like gore and not like this.
Oh.
This is mean-spirited gore. This is gore that makes you cringe because it's so mean-spirited. And because it's very torture-y porn, I guess. This is torture porn. Because there's parts that I was like, oh, come on, just stop. Just stop. I mean, there's other parts it doesn't bother me as much, because it feels like it can't make up its mind whether it wants to be kind of funny, gory, or mean. But then it goes back to mean, because there's like a torture sequence in this that, as much as everybody talks, like I just saw the first one yesterday or the night before, and I didn't hate it, but it is very, it's unflinchingly, I'm just going to be mean-spirited, and I'm going to keep doing this. It keeps beating the horse, except the horse is a human being. But also this film was, the first film really didn't have much story to it. This has just got a bunch of batshit stuff that happens that makes no sense. So this just throws a bunch of stuff and it just has long sequences for no reason. That long musical sequence, like it's a kid show for just a long period of time. It's trying to be like Nightmare on Elm Street at points, and and also that's one thing I didn't like about the first one is the dialogue is so bad. This one hasn't changed much in a few areas. There's like a scene between the mom and the daughter that's like, hello, let me just explain everything in the most unnatural, unrealistic conversation ever. So there's a lot of problems with this. But I will say that, there's a lot of stuff gore-wise I've never seen before. Not sure if I really wanted to see that, but there's some moments like I was like, oh my God. So it is kind of, but then there's other stuff. I really don't understand what happened. And I guess you guys did watch it through the end credits, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, and that doesn't make sense either. But I guess it won't mean, it's just, so they could probably do some even batshit crazier sequel if they want to. But yeah, although I will say it definitely doesn't shy away from torturing people and showing different ways you can bat. But then at the same time, I'm trying to figure out the logic of things, because one minute he's missing an eye, and the next minute it comes back, and so I don't understand. Like I can wash my clothes and then I'm totally clean. So there's a lot of things that don't make sense. So as long as you like a movie that doesn't make sense and you like people being tortured for like 20 minutes, it might be your thing.
This might be your film.
I guess it's my thing then. Yippee-ki-yay.
Oh my God, Jeff, sir. I know you're a fan of Art the Clown. I
What?
say
You
with a wink and a tug. What was your first impression of Terrifier 2?
Okay, so first, I did watch the first one over again.
Over again, he says. Yes.
I watched it once when we reviewed it, and I watched it the second time. And it didn't seem. I almost feel bad about this. It didn't bother me as much as it did the first time. Like I've become. You guys have acclimated me to.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You've ruined Jeff.
Some of these scenes. But Terrifier 2. So the first one is 90 minutes. This one is 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I will say gorehounds might love it, although Chris says, some people wouldn't. But for me, it's not a it's more of an endurance test or a marathon, because you're right. I mean, it just keeps coming and coming, and there's one more. I mean, there's a couple places where I go, well, that person isn't too effed up, so I know they're going to come back and do something else to them, and I was right. It's just unrelenting, and it plays past horror and terror into almost revulsion, or you said cringing. There's a lot of cringeworthy stuff. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm not going to say. I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to say anything else. I mean, God, some of it was great. Some of the effects were great. I'm sorry, but I found some of them to be a little not as great. There was some close-up stuff that just looked to me like flaps of rubber.
Flaps of rubber.
Splattered on them,
well, anyway. we like those rubber flaps. Dave Dreher.
That's disgusting.
What, Dave? No, Dave's not.
I can't even talk now.
What is your first impression of Terrifier 2?
I'm in Crystal's camp, and I'm in Christopher's camp. The first thing I wrote down was not shocking, just brutal. The first one, when he saws that chick in half, was shocking. It was shocking. And, this here, and I 100% agree with Christopher on this, this is just brutal. It's just, as Jeff was saying, unrelenting. I think the effects are fantastic. I mean, I really do. I love gore. I really do. But and again, I'm going to get a little spoilery here, but we get like two different versions of this. There's a scene where a lady gets her head blown off in a car, or it's in the car and blows her head off. And I mean, that's Tom Savini style gore. I mean, it was spectacular. It looked great. And then we go to the other side of that, where Art tortures this girl in a bedroom. And after he's scalped her and done all this shit, he comes back with bleach and salt and is pouring it all over. I'm like, why? Why do we have to see that?
She didn't give him candy.
Yeah, but still, I was just like, man, I mean, it was just like too much, It was like, wow.
And he doesn't stop there.
No, yeah. So I'm really finding myself kind of torn on this one, because I really appreciate what they accomplished. And it was just way too long at 2 hours and 20 minutes. I kept looking at my watch going, oh my God, is this thing ever going to end? Jesus Christ, it just keeps going. So I think they went thinking over the top would be best. And I think it's one of those situations where Art the Clown is maybe better served up in smaller doses. But I don't know. I still enjoyed the movie, though. I did. But
how many times did you watch it?
Well, we got 5 viewings. I watched it all 5 times. So.
Oh wow!
What?
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. I need to do
that. I mean, I did like. It sounds like I'm pissing on it. I'm really not. I think it is one of the most brutal movies. I mean, this is up there with Hostel type brutality. And I just found myself like feeling a little dirty watching it sometimes. Just like. It's just like, I don't know. It wasn't that. It just wasn't fun to watch after a while. Does that make any sense?
It does.
Yeah.
So, but it was okay.
I, on the other hand, am completely in Crystal's camp. I absolutely love this movie. And I wasn't sure. Now, I do agree. What was that? I do agree that it's too long. It needs to be about a half hour shorter at least. And there's plenty to cut.
Oh,
There's plenty to cut.
That's
But
the cut.
yeah, I think it needs another edit. But at the same time, this is the best slasher film we've had in ages. This is
Oh, that's
no, I absolutely think so.
I
This is our modern, slasher icon now.
I agree. Yep.
I'll agree with that, Doc. I think they have made Art the Clown an icon at this point, an iconic horror figure.
I think so, and they actually, I thought they blew it. This one seemed better than the first one. I thought. Yep. I love the supernatural aspect. I love the evil entity, we'll call it here, that shows up, and there's some things that happen with that evil entity that I was like, oh man, really, you gonna do that? It doesn't pull any punches. There are scenes in here that would make Santos Ellen Jr. as happy as a clam. And yes, it is brutal. Although, Dave, it wasn't, when you told me it was brutal, it wasn't as brutal as I thought you implied.
Well, maybe I saturated it to you by saying that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that to you, because you went in thinking it was going to be. The first time I watched it, I kind of misunderstood that whole candy, the when he kills all the kids. I thought they were like actual kids. I must have dozed off for a second and woke back up and I didn't realize it was like a dream sequence where I thought he was actually in that in there shooting all those kids that were playing on the swing sets and shit. And I'm like, holy Christ!
No, it's
like wiping out a bunch of toddlers. What the hell's going on?
They were grown people though.
I realized that on repeated viewings. I was like, okay, but when I made that comment to you, Doc, that was because I thought of that. I'm like.
Well,
I don't know if you can go into a playground and wipe out a whole playground full of kids. I don't know if it's
okay.
It's in there though.
I will say, hang on. They do get brutal with some younger cast members.
Okay. Well, and that's actually my line. Like, I'm like, look, Damien, don't kill the kids. Okay. Like, that's where kids are sacred. They're innocent. Most adults probably deserve it. Or to some degree, I could probably justify it. So you know what? Okay, do what you want. But but he didn't go too far. He
got close.
Very close. Yeah, he'll lose me if he does ever take it there. He'll lose me. Because like at that point, I don't know. It's too far. Like I'm like, look, you gotta have some lines. And if you do it just for the shock value, then what's the point anymore? But so if you've seen like All Hallows Eve, like I think Art at first was gonna be an alien. I think he's an alien. And then like in the Terrifier, I feel like he is supernatural. I just don't know if he's an alien. I want to know what I totally think in his head. He's got this whole backstory with that whole like the kid brought up the carnival, and then.
But what was all this with the mythology with the dad and the magic sword and.
I know. It's weird.
We're gonna go somewhere with that. I don't know if they ever made it, but.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I was more interested in that than I was other
really?
Stuff, but it didn't make any sense to me.
I'd like the supernatural.
Although the biggest fantasy element was there was only one black person in that whole town, and he worked at the store.
Yeah, that's right. He was at the Halloween store.
He was at the Halloween store.
And what was it? Did anyone else like the little girl Art the Clown? Like to me, that was playing like Rob Zombie's White Horse,
the evil entity.
And but it played out. It was very confusing to me what she was. I mean, obviously only Art's seen her.
Supposed to be one of his victims.
Yeah. I was a little confused by that whole thing. I wrote down that it was like Rob Zombie's White Horse in Halloween 2. It like didn't really make any sense. It was just there because it looked cool.
Well, what's interesting is that
he's building an army. Is what I'm thinking.
Ooh,
that could be.
Because so clearly I love the Terrifier. Clearly I think there's so much more to this. Damien's really smart and he's very clever. He's very talented, and I feel like he's got something in his brain, and he's like, little by little kind of dribbling it.
He's building this universe.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I really do. Because like if you think about it, like if the girl was his first victim, okay, now he's got her, and then he's got Vicky, who's become like another one of his little, like, I feel like he's kind of collecting people.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're becoming his, Vicky and Art, like, obviously she was a victim.
Yeah.
But then they went back, and I was a little confused too in the timeline. Again, this might have just been me, like the timeline, because they went back to what they showed in Terrifier with that lady at the beginning who's interviewing the victim from earlier.
Yes.
And
Right.
they revisited that, but I'm not sure why. And then they made it sound like that attack had just occurred in the same timeline as this movie, although they referenced it was a year ago before.
Right.
So I was a little confused on that whole thing.
Well, I thought it was a continuation from the last one.
Yeah, I thought it was
feel
done.
Like next day,
ago,
like
Yeah, it's like because when you see him the very beginning of Terrifier, he's watching that while he's doing stuff, and that takes place now. So because that was like
he was in the morgue.
That was a flashback to
well, but
the morgue at the beginning.
That part was a continuation, but the
then there's a 6
the
month
scene
jump.
that Dave's talking about the interview, that must have took place the year later. Only they showed it at the beginning.
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about, right? The television interview.
Yeah,
but he was watching television interview in the original Terrifier.
Right. But there's a time jump after he escapes the morgue and gets his clothes
Yeah, so
washed.
I'm assuming the time
Time
jump
jump.
happened in that very opening scene in Terrifier, the first
So
one.
that's not real clearly stated because it was a little
Well, because
confusing.
she's obviously gone through lots of operations and stuff, so some time has gone by.
Whoever did the plastic surgery is not what they're
Nope, they need some more.
That's a Terrifier part.
I believe that was another one of Art's henchmen.
Yeah, the very Batman villain.
Yeah, I mean, this goes into some weird places. That in the basement with the hole going down to what, hell?
Yeah, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Like I know that there's something to it. I just don't. I can't quite.
Yeah.
I wish they did a better job of that. And I think that's the pro. I mean, this is a slasher, and slashers are known for their kills. But the biggest problem with this franchise is the story, and that's always been a problem. And the dialogue, that's the thing that pulls it out of being anything iconic. You can be known for your kills, but I mean, this is more like, I guess, Friday 13th, and that but Friday 13th at least has more of a, you understand what the hell's going on. This one, it's just. Yeah,
I didn't have any problem with it. I mean, yes.
Yeah,
but I didn't have a
Yeah.
problem with it.
When Art pushes her down that hole, and then the next time we see her, we don't see anything about where she goes. The next time we see her, she's in this water tank.
She's in the water tank in the crazy children's show that doesn't exist.
Right.
So maybe the children's show is the hell.
Oh, she's in her.
Yeah, but
she's in her mind.
But they definitely made the innards into the fact that he can get in her dreams, or I mean, there was definitely some Freddy Krueger shit there going on when the fire starts, and burns those original set of wings and stuff. And it's like, I mean, that was all Freddy Krueger stuff.
Yeah.
What
I was going to say, what did we think of? We haven't mentioned our two lead characters. Griffin, son to Pietro. Pietro plays Eric, and Jenna Kanell plays Tara. Right? Am I right? Do I have the right ones?
I think that's right.
What do we think of these two leads?
Well, wait a minute. The kid was Jonathan. That was Elliott Fullam.
Okay, Elliott Fullam. All right, thank you. Yes, you're right. Elliott Fullam.
Cute. He was so precious.
He was. I thought he was real good. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff, for clearing that.
Well,
I thought both of them were. Yeah, I thought they were both great. I love.
Yeah, the final girl was great too. She was spectacular.
The costume that she had.
Oh,
she got better as it went
costume
along.
was
The very beginning, it was
amazing.
cringeworthy. Some of the acting performances by some of the actors in those.
I really liked her friend Christopher, like the blonde.
She was the better one.
Really
she was the
good.
best one of everybody.
Yeah,
the Brooke. You're talking about the Brooke character.
That gave her Molly.
Yes, Brooke.
She's like, I gave you Molly.
Which is not very consensual in today's
Yeah.
world.
I only gave you a little.
Actually, that's probably the most offensive. Look, okay, part of what makes Terrifier palpable for me is one, knowing he's not human. He's not human. So it's not a human doing this to people. It's a creature, an entity, a thing. And the fact that no one stays alive or awake that long when they're getting murked. Okay, that's the truth. Those people would be passed out and or dead, because in labor, I passed out and I almost died. I was not awake for all this pain. So it's kind of over the top. It's kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
But it's
Very
not.
much so.
Yeah, but if Dead Alive is much more entertaining and that has a load of gore in it, but this one, I think because I know me personally, I felt bad for the characters to where this is just too much. This is too tortury. This is good. I mean, and we can say that this character is like, not real monster or anything. You could say that about Michael Myers, but this one, I don't know. It really bothered me. It bothered me to where I was like, I feel like we're making something that's entertaining that actually is enjoying the torture of people to the nth degree, which is hard for me to say because I watch so many like gory type stuff. But something about this, it just hit me wrong, because that girl that gets tortured on the bed.
Oh my God.
I've never seen something that this is like. I was so bothered by that because it's like it just felt like it kept going on and on.
Hand and rips her.
It's
like
I was more bothered when he was.
I just felt like
Jonathan.
I
thought that was a little too much because he was screaming and crying.
He seems to do that more to women in these movies than men.
It's with me too. He also freaking stabbed a dude in his dick.
That's all he did.
Over and
stab
over
him
and
in
over.
the dick.
And he pulled it off.
Yeah, but then he rubbed it on the window.
It went like this.
Well, he did give more. He did do more stuff in this than in the first one when it came to equal time for men.
I have to ask a question, Doc. Who did you say was the female lead?
Is it Jenna Kanell or do I have the wrong one?
It is not. It's Lauren LaVera.
Lauren LaVera. Sienna.
Jenna Kanell was the one in the first one.
First one. That's what.
Okay. They have this all out of order.
They don't have them in order. They don't.
Although you can create a drinking game every time someone just stares for like 10 minutes long instead of running away from somebody.
Yeah, that was
happened so much. I got mad at the characters because it's literally every time something horrible was happening, they're going, get the fuck out of there! What are you doing?
Even the little boy, the little boy does it. The little boy does it.
The little boy's like,
yeah. When Art's standing there slamming the mashed potatoes into his
when he runs, it's like, oh God, the characters are so stupid in these movies.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. Crystal, you are up first.
So I'm the oddball, and you know what? I've always been the oddball, so I'm just gonna freaking own it. I loved it. I want another one. Give me more. Give me more. Give me more Art the Clown. And I want more gore. And I like the blood. Just don't hurt the babies. Damien. Anyway, so I'm going to say I'm going to give this a 4.5.
Oh, I thought you were going to go there. I thought you were going to go 5.
I thought you were too. I did too.
I thought about it, but I'm like, I was bothered by a couple tiny little things, which were like mainly conversations. The mom really bothered me.
Her yelling fuck at her son every 10 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm like, look, I was the big weirdo kid, and so I hated that he was getting picked on. I have a real heart for this kid, apparently, because I'm like, yeah, I was obsessed with serial killers. Come on, let's not. Okay, so my favorite scene. God, there's so many good scenes. Oh, I know. When he's... See, I'm so messed up. Sorry, it's funny to me. When he's giving out candy at the house... Out of
the stubborn head, yeah.
And then the little boy reaches for the second one. He's like, I was like, yeah, that was cute. I was like, and they're like, ooh, that's mine sticky. It's just fake blood. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. A little flavor.
We'll wash it off.
A little iron.
It'll taste good. Christopher, your score and favorite scene?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this film is horrible, but I think the content of it just rubbed me the wrong way. So I'll say that much. I'll give it a 2.75. So,
Oh,
Okay, better than I thought. Better than I
I
thought.
mean,
Yeah.
it's above average, and I'll say that this definitely. We always complain about films not having enough practical effects, even though I definitely agree with Dave. There's a lot of practical effects is back, and there's a few times you're like, is that just like is that just ketchup on that head? But it really goes there, and maybe it's because it seemed a little too realistic in times. Because some of the torture scenes, I was like, please just stop. I almost feel like it would have been better if some of those scenes had been like
consolidated.
because this is unrated, so he just basically got to do what he wanted to do. I kind of wish they'd been knotted because there's also scenes that could have been edited down even more. As for favorite scene, I'm gonna go with a non. Well, I could go with like.
What's it gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna choose? You're gonna choose something.
There's two things. I'll say. I'm gonna say this is a weird scene, but I'm gonna say when she's on Molly and she calls her mom
Yeah.
and tells her that she
Yeah.
loves her.
Mhm.
And I think for a film that's so brutal and mean spirited in some of the gore, that would seem very heartfelt. So that's so I'll
gonna
give
go
him that much.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to diffuse things. All right, Mohr. No, I like that scene too, actually, and I like the follow up to it where it said, "Don't ever call your mother on Molly." Jeff, what was your score and your favorite scene?
Throw a quick comment out. You mentioned a couple of cameos with Felissa Rose and Chris Jericho, but also Tamara Glenn was in Halloween 5.
Mm-hmm.
The mother in the store with the little kid. Anyway,
Okay.
jeez.
That says it all.
Well,
Next.
Dave has shamed me. The fact that he watched it 5 times, I'm just
I can't believe he watched it 5 times.
friggin'
I
astounded.
had a hard time watching it one time.
Well, so here's what in order for me to, at some point, it became not the movie or the story. It became watching the special effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, like realizing it's only special effects. These are actors. Nobody's because the concept of what was happening to these people was just, I'm sorry. I'm a classic era guy. I like
Don't be sorry.
atmosphere more than I like the gore. So
that's
anyway,
okay.
I don't know what to say. I from my point of view, I'm giving this a 2.5.
Okay.
Because for
see,
me,
that's
3
great.
is I'm glad I watched it. I'm not particularly glad I watched it, although I might watch it again just because
I love this. I love it.
I want to be like Dave. Just because I want to be like Dave. So favorite scene, I'm gonna go with the gore. Nobody else has said it. So when the mother walks in and he's in there with the baby, with the girl on the bed.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Mama.
it's just like
oh my God. When she wakes up and her scream, oh my God, that was so awesome. Yes.
I didn't like that at all.
I'm so happy you picked
well, I'm
that.
not. It's not so much a favorite scene, but maybe most impactful scene.
Oh, it's memorable, but
Yes.
more nightmare.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Dave, your score 1 to 5 in your favorite scene.
Well, you know, I really wanted to love this movie. I wanted to say that this is like the #1 movie of the year, but I just can't go like that. I liked it. I did not love it. I really wanted them to see. I wanted to see them bring Art the Clown up to that slasher king category, and they just kind of failed to do it here. They relied on being brutal instead of being creative, I fear, and developing. Maybe the third one will go there because they laid a lot of groundwork here that I'm not sure is going to lead anywhere. It might. We'll have to wait and see. But this didn't do what I wanted it to do. With that being said, though, the gore effects and stuff were actually incredibly well done. I thought there was. There were some really great gags in this. And like I said, I already mentioned the one where he blows the mom's head off in you know, and that, I mean, that was every bit as good as the scene in Maniac when Tom blew his own head off. You know, I mean, it was on the same caliber on that. But for a favorite scene, I'm actually going to go with one where I think if they would have done more scenes like this, I think the movie would have been much better. But it's that whole Halloween store scene when Art's in there and you know, we get the sunflower glasses and then we get the red flaming glasses, and she's obviously all tense because he's there, and she realizes she left her purse, and as she's realizing that, he comes up and slams it on the counter, and you know, and then goes through all those crazy motions with the glasses and stuff. Yeah, you know, I mean, but I thought that was great. That was him being menacing without being brutal. I mean, he was actually scary there.
Good pick.
That would have freaked me out. That creepy fucking bastard standing right behind me, and you know, not knowing what he's going to do. So I thought that whole scene was exceptional. And if the more of the movie had been like that, I think it would have been a much better film instead of, you know, slamming some kids with scissors on a rope 47 times in a row. You know, I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I did like it. I just didn't love it, and I wanted to love it.
Okay, very good. Okay. I did love it. I did love it, and I'm surprised by that actually. I tend to not like when your movies go this far, but it didn't cross that line, Crystal. And I'll tell you what my line is off camera here. And I'm glad it didn't get rapey, right? So it's not that kind of film. It's he's after souls or, you know, something. Who knows what it is? But and he's got a target. He's after these two kids for whatever reason. And anyway, so I think I'm going to go 4.5 as well. I want to go higher.
Wow.
I want to go. This is going to be. This is going to knock some good movies out of my top 10. Because this is going to end up in it. I want to see it 4 more times, Dave. I want to see this 4 more times, and I want to see more Terrifier. I want to see Terrifier 3 now. I really like. Now the difference. I want to say this earlier, but there's a difference between Art the Clown and like Jason, right? At least is the way they present it in the films, because Jason will go up and he'll jab somebody, right? He'll put a stake through 2 people or shoot an arrow through their eye, but then he walks away, right? Yeah. Or he drags them. Not Art. Art says, "I just got started," and he just keeps going, and I think that's the brutality that you know, he just keeps getting brutal, and it's but at the same time, the way David Howard Thornton reacts to a lot of this, like when somebody comes in, he's like, he's just like laughing, like it's like, but it's, you know, he's miming everything. I thought his performance was extraordinary. So much better than the first one. And I loved him in the first one, but to this, it was like you could see his confidence playing this character has grown. I think he
had fun with it.
Yeah, and that's my favorite scene is going to be his reaction at the very end when he knows it's time, because he's kind of like this, and then at the very end he goes, because it's crazy smile. and then.
But have you thought that maybe that's what was supposed to happen, because every time he dies, he comes back stronger?
Yes.
Get it?
Yes,
it's going somewhere. It's going somewhere.
I do. But that's the most extreme example of what he does throughout the film. Dave's favorite scene is a lot of that too, when he's in that there, but in the Halloween store. But yeah, so I want to see more Art the Clown. You make it shorter movie though. I don't think that's going
to be a problem. I have a feeling we're in for about 8 more Art the Clown movies.
There might be more Art the Clown movies.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And like I said, I like this better than the first one.
Me too.
Because
I'd say this is better than the first one too.
Oh, good.
So that's not saying a lot.
Something.
Well, I think it's like I think you can also
say a lot.
I'd
say it's on par with the first one. I don't think they struck any new ground with this one. I think it's as good as
really?
The first one.
Because I think he improved. I think both David Howard Thornton improved and Damien Leone improved as a director and writer too.
I do too. Okay, but I get it. I get why people don't like
Chris do not agree.
I do.
That's okay.
I get it. So if it's not for everyone. Terrifier is for sure not for everyone.
I never understood people's. You know, I have friends that like got pictures with the guy who plays Art, and I think because I'd never seen it, I didn't understand why people loved this character, because I felt like maybe I mean, I can understand that. Regardless of my issues, it is a very memorable character, and I think because a lot of our killers aren't very animated, I guess we'll say, other than Freddy Krueger. This character is, and because he's menacing and he's a goofy. Because there's one scene I almost picked was when he pulls that guy's eyeball out and he goes, his eye. I will say, there's one moment I gasped. It's when he cut the girl. He slashed her through her eye.
Yeah, through her eye.
I gasped because it looks so. I don't
great.
think I've ever seen that in a movie before, where it happens so quick and looks so realistic. Where I actually gasped in my living room, like, "Oh my god!" And then what happens later? Oh no! Please stop, Art. You've done enough. So yeah, I mean, I can understand, because normally I like gore and stuff. I don't know. It turned my stomach in parts. But
Yeah,
I'm glad some people see it differently.
That and Baby Art Head. Looking at the
Oh my
baby
god!
art.
But did you
That was
notice
awesome.
the subtleties, like how the makeup was more skin tone? Like he didn't have that. See, oh my god! How did we not talk about how the color grading changed throughout the movie as well? Oh my gosh! Like toward the end, it was practically a black and white movie with only red. There's so much to it. There's just so much I could say about how much I love different things that he did. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
I loved that.
yes.
I think it was going more the fantasy by the end.
Yeah,
The
it was
fantasy
definitely
aspect.
going somewhere. Yeah.
I don't think he figured out what he was trying to do in 2.5 hours, even though he said he needed it for story. But I think he just needed it for these long gore scenes.
There you go. All right. Well, that's our review for Terrifier 2. It is out in theaters across the country. I think about 300 of them actually. So
I thought it was 800. I thought
it might be
somebody said it was
800. Oh my god, it might be 800.
Yeah,
And of course,
it was
it's
800.
on VOD.
I hope it does well. It'd be good for horror if it does well. So
I think
Yeah.
so.
I
Yeah.
wish it
Horror
well.
is doing really well at the box office right now,
Yep,
so
yep.
I guess we'll see.
All right. Well, let's Jeff, Crystal, Dave, Christopher, thank you for joining me. As always, it's a lot of fun.
You're welcome.
It's always
This
fun.
was super fun.
Super fun. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, wait.
Gruesome Magazine.